Hello, friends. This is Tracy Brown, and today we're going to talk about something that it's an emerging, I think, topic and in the non-dieting sort of world. And we're going to be talking about the role of our autonomic nervous system in our hunger and fullness. So each day this week in the series, it's going to be, I can't possibly go too deep in these because of the length of these videos, but there will be a bigger training at some point putting all this in. And so today I just want to talk about the autonomic nervous system and kind of what it is, and just really quickly, because I only have about 5 minutes or so before I have to go. And I'm so sorry I'm late getting on this video. Things happen today. It's Monday, I guess. I'm going to talk about like some of the things it actually does from very briefly from a digestive perspective. So you can see if you're in any of these states, you might be recognizing why there are some discrepancies in your hunger and fullness. Now, we're going to go way deeper into it in later trainings and videos and all that good stuff. But today, I just want to educate you a little bit about what is happening, what is an autonomic nervous system. So basically, it's kind of our survival system, and it helps our automatic processes work and function. And now, Stephen Porges, if you want to go do some geeking out and read about the person who has kind of developed a lot of our current knowledge about this. His name's Stephen Porges, and it's not that we just have a sympathetic nervous system like fight or flight, or a parasympathetic nervous system, which is kind of our shutdown or our rest and digest. It's polyvagal, which means like many branches, basically. And so we know what the sympathetic is, and it's not the same thing as the parasympathetic part of our nervous system. So our sympathetic, as you all know, it's part of like mobilization. It gets us going. And a little bit of sympathetic is good because we, study for the test or we get to work on time or whatever. But when it's always up and it's always really elevated is when we're going to start being those fight or flight situations. Now, that's a good thing. We want to have that on board because if I'm walking through the woods, it's good to have a little bit of higher alertness because a bear might be over there and I want to know that it's over there, and I don't want to be so like in my own zone that I don't recognize that maybe there's a bear over here or there's a snake on the ground. The trouble is that when we inaccurately neurocept or perceive something as dangerous, then we live in a lot of danger. And we live that way chronically. Like stress basically is a form of being always up and sympathetic. And that impacts our body organs, which we're going to talk about in a different video this week. I am going to talk about some of the other physiologic stuff of being too much up or down. And we'll talk about how that impacts our food and our eating and our ability to perceive our needs as well. All right, so sympathetic though, it causes an increase in our heart rate, our breathing, and our arousal. So like that braced up and ready. Okay, and you can even see this body posture here, that if I'm up like this as I'm eating, and I want you to be thinking about if you're up in this body position, how do you think you're, like if you feel how the tightness in here, you will notice like maybe there's some inaccuracies with your hunger and fullness if you're always living up here and eating this way. So this is fight or flight. So I'm gonna run or fight, so you're immobilized. What happens as I'm in this body posture is that you're going to notice it like, oh, you might not digest as well. There's a decrease in just naturally in digestion. You're not going to feel safe. There's a decrease in your salivation. So that's the reason why, like if you're really scared and there's delicious food around and you're hungry, you might not salivate because your body's also like, okay, where's the tiger? What's going on? All right. You're not going to have as much social engagement. It's going to be more difficult for you to be connected. You're going to have to like have somebody around you probably to co-regulate too, to recognize, oh, I'm okay here. My body's saying it's not safe, but you're in front of me, looking me in the eye, telling me that it's okay. And that's not convincing my body yet, but at least I'm starting to get there. And sometimes, and it's obviously it actually impacts our hearing as well. So sometimes we can get really laser focused on what we think is a threat, and we're not hearing other voices or the things around us that might actually be good. So that's sympathetic. So I want you to be thinking about all those things and how that might be impacting your hunger and fullness. And those are just some clues as to what your homework is for today with this. Now, we often think as the parasympathetic is like, okay, well, that's up, that means down. Now, there's two parts to that. There is our ventral vagal, which is our rest and digest. Or at least it's part of it, okay? So, the ventral vagal is like all the vagal innervation from like here all the way to our diaphragm, okay? And that has to, if that's on board, and that means we've had enough wiring of safety in our lives that we are going to feel safe, even if maybe we're stressed out. If, you know, basically ventral vagal, ventral parasympathetic nervous system activity, you know, like right now, hopefully you're in ventral vagal with me, that you feel safe, you feel engaged with what I'm saying. Like my voice is up and down, there's prosody. If you're talking with somebody and they're very monotone, or they're really high, or something's going on, it's like, that's not feeling connected, because it's not. They're not in ventral vagal. They're doing socially acceptable things, but they seem kind of flat doing it, or they seem really up and running from tigers even though they're talking to you. That's probably because they are. That they don't know that because maybe that feels normal or whatever. Facial expression, eye contact. When somebody's in ventral vagal, they can look you in the eye, and there's facial expression, and it matches like maybe the story they're telling you. Of course, rest and digest, which means our digestion is so much better because everything is not as contracted, as mobilized to run or to fight or to shut down. It's like we're just more efficiently and effectively digesting. Regulation, which is like, yeah, I can manage my emotions, my affect, and we're connected. So I'm hoping you all have some ventral vagal going on as we're talking today. And you probably do if you're able to stay present. If I'm talking and you're checking out, you probably don't have that much running. And that's something that one of the best ways to kind of juice up your social engagement system is to be with people that are safe and practice being with them, listen to things, music, nature. I mean, again, I'm not going to go too much into like the hows today. I just want to educate you about like, you have a nervous system and it's impacting how you engage in life, and it's 100% engaging how you feed yourself, okay? And so the last part, and then I'm gonna hop off, and you all are more than welcome to ask me questions, tag me in this thread. Each day there's gonna be a prompt, and then of course we'll be having our regular videos on Wednesday and Friday as well with like deepening into this topic. So lastly, there's a dorsal vagal. Now dorsal vagal is just as important as these other two, because, you know, if we can't socially connect, it's not safe. And if sympathetic running and fighting doesn't work, then we're going to shut down, which is good, because if the gazelle didn't kind of shut down when the lion caught it, it might be in a lot of pain as it's dying. That's terrible, right? So it's good that we can kind of like check out. You know, we can get another word for that, maybe is dissociate, whatever. But if we're like that when we're eating, what do you think is happening? So I want you to take a second. What would that be like if you're feeling immobile, kind of shut down or frozen? What do you think your accuracy with your fullness might be, or your hunger might be? How do you approach food when you feel kind of checked out? We're going to talk about some of the emotions that go with these different states, and maybe more specifically what's happening with your food, again, later this week. But I just want you to be thinking about your own experience of feeling so overwhelmed that you feel kind of numb, or like, and here's another example. Being in dorsal is like driving home from work and you don't remember how you got there. Like you're so overwhelmed, your body's just like, oh, okay. Your body knows how to get home. It's just that you don't remember getting there because you're not in your social engagement. You're not fully present. So you're going to have a decrease in your heart rate, in your breathing, muscle tone. So your body, you're not going to feel as physically like enlivened in your body and your cells, including your face. So a lot of times when I'm working with people, I can tell when they're starting to check out because their facial tone starts to go down and flatten. And they're telling me a story, but the affect isn't there that matches the facial stuff. So I know that there's something happening here. Okay. And then access to social engagement. So being present. It's hard to be checked out. You don't want to, it's like these are different states. So you're not going to be totally with me if you're also checking out. And that also goes along with food as well. Okay, and so all of these different states, like ventral vagal, you know, we're not going to be, again, and don't think that's like, oh, okay, Tracy's saying that I'm supposed to be ventral vagal all my life, and no, you're not going to always be regulated and everything feel good and comfortable and all that. That's not how it works. Is that we want to build this robust window of tolerance where it's like we can come in and out, and maybe you have little stressors, but we mostly have the capacity to deal with that. And in that window is where our food is going to feel, it's going to feel easy to be an in-tuned eater. If we don't have a lot of like our angst and judgment against our food intake, or what we're stressing out about, or what we feel overwhelmed about, we can problem solve easier and emotionally like have more compassion for ourselves when we have a bigger window. If we're in sympathetic, you know, we're fighting or we're flighting. It's gonna, you don't have much compassion there. And the same thing with dorsal, you know. So I always tell people, like, can we make a decision from a very connected place before you judge what you're doing with your food? Because it's you know, it's difficult. It puts you more in these states of feeling like there's a threat, you did something wrong, there's something to be ashamed about, versus I wonder how that eating, even if it wasn't that connected, how was that helping you? You know, having that kind of relationship with yourself grows your window as well. So be thinking about you. This is like a little mini assignment. I want you to take some action on this and go, okay, when I'm really revved up, what's my behavior with food? What's my thinking about food? When I'm feeling kind of like shut down, what's my thinking? What's my behavior around food? And then we'll go from there next time. All right, if this video was helpful, enlightening, encouraging, insightful, and new stuff for you, let me know about it. I'd love to, you know, see some little help, you know, bloops, that this was good. Or if you have any comments about how you'd like me to go deeper, put them below. And if this was helpful, then let your friends know about it as well. I really appreciate it. So I will talk to you in the next video on Wednesday, and then be looking out for some prompts that kind of get you thinking more deeply tomorrow. All right, thanks so much and have a good rest of your day. Thank you for coming live, all y'all who did. I really appreciate it. I know I changed the time, but I couldn't jam it in this morning, and this is going to be a good one. So I'm excited you came. Thank you so much and take care. Bye.